We had an employee that was with us for a very short time earlier this year. And this person would just constantly drop off the radar right around 11:30, and we wouldn't hear from this person until the end of the day. And we were like, finally, after a couple of weeks, we're like, what's going on? Well, I have to go pick up my daughter at daycare. Okay, that's fine, but you need to come back. You know, like it's like, you know.
Well, tired after that.
Yeah. I mean, okay, we all have kids and deal with life, but we understand. But I mean, that doesn't give you a license to just check out for the whole rest of the day. You know,
Insurance dudes are on a mission to escape being handcuffed by our agencies.
How? By uncovering the secrets to creating a predictable, consistent, and profitable agency sales machine.
I am Craig Pretzinger.
I am Jason Feldman.
We are agents.
We are insurance dudes. Somebody I know just built a software with AI, and they were struggling at the beginning to figure out how to do this. So then they just kind of broke it down to like first principles. They built it on Airtable. They had a bunch of VAs, and they kind of had this process. They laid it out. They said, okay, the process works now. Now let's use AI for each component. And then they built something really cool out of it, because they started with the whole idea of let's get the process down to accomplish the goal.
Exactly. I mean, you got to have the plan first. Otherwise it can go awry. And then the second thing is, sure, AI and other types of technology can help us be more productive and help us scale. That does not mean, though, that you don't need people. And I think a big mistake that CEOs and CFOs make, well, we just bought all this technology to scale so we can cut headcount. You know,
right.
Well, who do you think is going to run the systems? Who's going to manage them and make sure they're staying up to date? And the vendors keep adding functionality and capabilities and you need governance. Yeah, but this happens all the time. Or if they do hire people, they keep it really single-threaded. They have one person at a billion-dollar company running a tech stack. What if this person goes on vacation, or they leave, or they get sick? Like, there's mission-critical failures in your revenue engine. And it happens all the time. So it's quite amazing, actually, that people make short-sighted decisions. And
well, then you just bring in the monkeys and have them push the buttons.
Right. Look, we don't need AI for us to make poor decisions. We can make it anyway. So it's just, sometimes you got to take a step back and wonder.
Yeah.
What do you do? Take us through your process step by step. Like, when you go into a company, you see that things are all out of process. So how do you go in and start organizing that?
Oh, we start moving the furniture around. We might paint a few walls.
Yeah.
I really don't like the swing. We're going to paint some windows. No, it's we go in and if they're early on in their journey, we're starting with education. We're trying to get them to parity. We're trying to get executives to understand the world of possible. And then from there, we start with specific use cases. Hey, here are examples. Here are case studies. These are things that you could do in sales or in marketing or in HR and operations. Let's go through. Let's prioritize some quick wins that we can do over the next couple of months that you're not going to have to overinvest. You can see the potential of how AI will help you. And then we can move to a broader roadmap. If they're a little bit more advanced, they have a pretty good handle. They've been working maybe with AI for a while. That being relative, of course, generative, because anybody that says they've been working with generative AI for years is full of shit, because it's not hasn't even been out for a year yet. Yeah. But those, though, we'll talk about a full domain. And so instead of working on a single process or use case, we might address all of sales or manufacturing or supply chain or HR, a more complete department, because they have more capability, personnel, skill, investment dollars, and they're more mature. But in either way, it's really still about putting together a roadmap that can support both agility, but practicality. No business has an unlimited amount of money, an unlimited amount of personnel, or an unlimited amount of time. And business conditions change all the time. So you don't want to come up with something that's so rigid and so time consuming that you're working on this thing for 3 years and the whole world's passed you by. You turn the thing on, it's already irrelevant. So at the same time, it can't be so small that it doesn't make a difference.
Love it. Yeah, it is funny, us as entrepreneurs, how messy we can make a process or just our business in general. And then it's like, how do you get out of that?
Yeah, I mean, I think as entrepreneurs, we're salespeople.
Yeah.
We're evangelizers. We're creative artists. We're the persona, the charisma. To sit down and stop and, well, no, A has to go before B before we got like C.
That's boring.
Not wired that way. We don't think that way. Right? Why can't we just play with everything all at once? Just like get it in there and go.
Yeah.
And then we look at our team in stupefied amazement that they're not keeping up. Like, why not? And then they're looking at us like, oh, great, here comes another crazy idea that we're gonna have to go implement. So it's we're talking past each other.
Yeah. Yep. So how do you slow it down? How do you slow it down and become relatable to the people that are around you?
Well, I mean, I think if you're asking me as an executive versus what we do with AI, for me, it's a lot of years of self-reflection, practice, good business coaches, joining a few CEO groups, and learning to reprogram myself.
Yeah.
And coming to the understanding that, which is really hard for us as entrepreneurs, that if we want to scale, we got to get out of our own way because we are the problem. We are the bottleneck. And that's not easy for most of us to accept, frankly. We think everybody else is the problem.
It's the dichotomy of being type A and then realizing, holy shit, I'm a complete.
As they say, right, if you're an AA or whatever, like admitting that you have a problem is the first step. So I think, in running a business, if you can admit that you're actually the problem and running your business, you're well on your way. So internally, that's how I've approached it. And look, it's a life is a journey. I view myself, I'm just a piece of clay. I'm just trying to keep formatting and working and trying to become the best version of myself that I can. And be the best leader and manager and human being I can. For our clients, it's always about change, and technology is such a big disruptor, and it's hard, if not impossible, to force change on people, particularly employees. You have privy information when you're in a boardroom that your employees don't see. And you can make these strategic decisions because you have all the data, you understand all the moving parts, and at your level, it makes a ton of sense. And you start going down a couple of levels, it doesn't make sense, right? Because you're not explaining it in ways that it makes sense to the employee, in ways that's going to benefit them directly. And at the end of the day, that's all that really matters. It does not matter how great your idea is as CEO if your employees don't understand it and won't implement it. So, what we do with our clients then is help them develop solid communication plans and change management plans that bring their vision to practical reality. We spend a lot of time working at the employee level in addition to the executive level, empowering the managers, giving them practical things, lining up the objectives so that everything that they're doing in the boardroom goes down to the division level, goes down to the employee level, and back up again.
I love that. Total feedback loop.
Absolutely. It's really the only way to do it.
Yeah.
It's too easy to skip steps. The other thing that I've learned the hard way is you can never say things enough. I used to think, I like every other CEO, I do my annual kickoff and I talk about our vision and our goals for the year. And then I give the quarterly updates and I do the town halls. And what I was finding is the gaps that happened between the time I started the year and those quarterly updates or check-ins, it's big games of telephone, all the time. People are wildly different interpretations of what they think or understood or think they knew. You might have to repeat the messages hundreds of times, thousands of times. And it might feel nauseating for you as an entrepreneur because you're screaming inside, like, why don't they get it?
Right.
I'll tell you why they didn't get it is because you didn't explain it clear enough. That's why.
It's
as simple as that. It's like, it's you. It's like, so like every time my employees are not getting it, I'm like, yeah, it's me. I can't. I mean, I'd love to blame my managers.
Right.
That's terrible leadership.
Well, it's a human instinct. It's not us, it's them always, right? It has to be them.
No, it's sad reality is it's me.
I do this thing. I try to every night where before at some point, in the going to sleep process, I try to just reflect on key decisions or interactions I had through the day and then assign I could improve on it or, just like reflect on it. And I think it's really helpful to look at that and then accept that, yeah, okay, maybe it should have gone a different way. I could have done this a little bit better.
Yeah, I mean, look, and ultimately, it's not just about the repetition. It's about connecting with the employee so that the message resonates from their worldview.
Empathy.
How does this help them do their job better? Because I told you so, or because that's the new rules, doesn't really work. Look at what's happening now with CEOs that are trying to mandate and force people back into the office. I mean, what do you think that does for morale? I understand in certain cases why it's important, and in certain businesses you do want to have that collaboration, but just making someone do something and then the ultimatum is you're fired. That,
right.
I think it's a tough way to do it. So I think, the CEOs that are having more success are meeting with employees, finding healthy compromise, maybe you come in a couple of days a week, still giving you that flexibility, because people do, for the most part, crave that social interaction. We do like to see people. But the fact that I have to be there at Monday at 8 and I'm there till Friday at 6, it's we're in a different world now.
It is crazy how when that whole thing started, it was only going to be 2 weeks, right?
Famous last words.
Yeah. But like little did we know how much it was going to start shaping that change. And then when we were allowed to go back in the office, for me, I liked going back in because, man, I am very social. And working at home with 4 kids and a wife is not the ideal work situation. Mm-hmm. So I liked it in a sense, but yeah, there's so many people that they're like, they got used to it. And so it's not necessarily it's definitely not the business's fault because it was something that we were forced into. And then same with our team, right? They were forced in that and now they're used to it. So then it's like, holy crap. Like we're in the situation where both sides were forced into a situation. Now we're going to reacclimate A, to the vision of the business, and B, to the, what the team's used to.
Well,
that's a tough conversation.
Let's be honest. It was a benefit, right? Like to be able to work from home for most employees, it's a huge benefit, right? Because then they can likely work less, right? There's a lot of distractions. They could sit at their computer later. So like we've talked about this a lot extensively. You can't pay somebody something, then lower pay, right? Like that will never fly. And so here we are. It's a benefit in their mind. I get to work from home. This is awesome. Oh, I got to go.
Yeah, I mean, it's good. But we, of course, have always worked virtually since the day we opened the doors. So for us, it wasn't in the adjustment.
Oh, there you go. Yeah.
But, we have enough mechanisms in place and trust is earned. And it's not that hard to see if someone's abusing the privilege, right? I mean, we had an employee that was with us for a very short time earlier this year. And this person would just constantly drop off the radar right around 11:30, and we wouldn't hear from this person until the end of the day. And we were like, finally, after a couple of weeks, we're like, what's going on? Well, I have to go pick up my daughter at daycare. Okay, that's fine, but you need to come back. It's like,
Well, tired after that.
Yeah. I mean, okay, we all have kids and deal with life, but we understand. But I mean, that doesn't give you a license to just check out for the whole rest of the day. So, needless to say, that person didn't last long. They had a very different understanding of what work actually means, and especially with us being in a client-centric organization. But yeah, it happens sometimes. I mean, I think at the end of the day, you work hard to establish the values and ethics you want from your employees. You work hard to screen them. You work hard on building a culture. But the culture starts and ends with the CEO. If you're not going to lead by example or admit or be candid when you make mistakes and own them, how do you realistically expect your employees or team to do that too? Yeah. And most people, I think, are forgiving. And I think my team's had a lot of patience with me over the years. I know my family certainly has. I am not perfect by any stretch of the imagination, and I have made more than my share of F-ups over the years. But you keep swinging. You get up every day. You keep learning to be better. Yeah. It's funny. One of the ways that AI has helped me in a very small way, but you guys would appreciate this. I mean, sometimes you get really pissed off and you want to send an angry email, like everything that you really want to tell them off. So no, I never do. So previously what I would do is I would just write it in a blank email, get it all on paper. I don't have to walk away, go get a cup of coffee, come back, and I'm like, oh yeah, I can't send that.
Yeah.
Now I'll type it into ChatGPT and I'm like, can you help me clean this up and say it in a nicer, more professional way? And I'm like, okay. And I text it and I'm like, ooh, that's really good. So I'm like, I'm telling the person off, but really smoothly. I'm like, okay, this is good. This is good.
Oh, that's awesome. Do you have a channel for that on ChatGPT just for that email?
I probably should. Yeah. I have actually, I'm bad at keeping my channels separate because it's a stream of conscience of me all day long. So I'm just, but it knows me now. So I'm just, I could be like, hey, give me a recipe for dinner. Go find, I'm having a problem with my car. Check this. Oh, I need a new sales script for this. I'm like constantly just in and out.
It's the ultimate helper.
It really is. It's an ultimate muse. And so my CMO says, I think the reason why I like it so much is because it can keep up with you and talk back. It's just like, so I'm like, yeah, you're probably right about that.
That's funny. Craig trained his whole ChatGPT to talk to him very street and use curse words. So every response,
no, it's more like well, we don't need to get into it, but he calls yeah, it's never mind. We're really good old friends. And like he says, pretty much almost anything I ask, it says, F yes, I can handle that, brother. It's just so awesome. It's just so much fun. If I'm down, ChatGPT can cheer me up.
Yeah. You start your day. What up, bitch?
Yeah.
You really can't say that to your colleagues. You're like, what? No. What did you just say?
No, then it gives me bad, an email that I'm like, wow, what? It's like not great. I'll just go, that's a bunch of crap. And, just be mean. And he's so nice back. Doesn't care. So I don't have to be mean to anybody. Just.
It's perfect. Yeah. It's
the outlet.
Judgment.
Yeah.
No and it even apologizes.
It does. It's like, so sorry you didn't like that.
It's the one time I always get to be right.
Yeah.
Because I sure don't have that privilege anywhere else, So I'm sorry, Jeff. I'll try harder. Yeah, damn straight you will.
Yeah, that's right.
That happening.
Exactly. You better try harder. All right, Jeff. So I know that people could find you on pedowitzgroup.com. Is there anywhere else?
LinkedIn.
LinkedIn.
Yeah, and perfect place. And then my email, jeff@pedowitzgroup.com.
Cool.
Come check me out. Love to have a conversation with you and see if we can help you scale.
Awesome.
Is there anything we don't know that we didn't go over with Pedowitz Group that you want us to know? Or
we help our clients with strategy, with technology, with creative, and with execution. And
that's it.
We work with small companies, large companies, and everyone in between. So our goal is driving more revenue through sales and marketing. And so if you have any of those challenges, we'd love to talk to you.
Perfect. Awesome. That's fantastic.
Awesome. Thanks, guys, for having me on. This was a lot of fun. And I love being an insurance dude, at least for a night.
At least for a day.
No, you can keep it as long as you want.
Thank you. Do I get a t-shirt? You guys send me a t-shirt?
Yes. That's so funny. Nobody ever asked for t-shirts and we stopped to kind of sending them. And now today, 2 people asked for t-shirts.
I love it. I want a t-shirt. Give me a t-shirt, man. I'll wear it.
All right. You got to send us a picture of you in it.
I will.
All right.
Perfect.
Cool, Jeff. Thank you so much, man. It was really fun talking to you.
Thanks, guys. Had a lot of fun.
Thank you.